The next stop is On the Radar Radio.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Yes, sir, baby. On the Radar Radio. Yo, special guest in the building. Canada is here. Dr. Bushman is in the building. What's up, brother? How are you today?
What's good, brother?
Welcome to the show.
Good. How are you?
I'm great. How are you feeling?
Good. I'm in New York City.
You back home, kind of, sort
Back
of?
home. Yeah, I feel like I'm home, you know?
Have you ever spoken about being from New York originally or no?
Not in Canada. Like, you know what's funny? I just did an interview before I left.
Okay.
And I that's when I made the big reveal.
Who was it with? Was it with Six Buzz or?
No, not Six Buzz. There's another interview place called We Love Hip Hop, Toronto. Like,
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Shout out We Love Hip Hop.
Yeah.
So you're from New York originally. Now we can finally talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm from New York, from like Flatbush.
Okay. Did you not ever is there a reason why you never spoke about it before or?
Yeah, like I don't know. I was trying to keep my life more low key, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't want, you know.
Plus, like when you're doing music and you're coming out of I mean, I'm sure you didn't spend that much time out here in New York when you were like.
Yeah, exactly. I
moved
was
to
more
Canada.
younger. Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
even the way you talk, like you have like a little bit of a Canadian accent as well.
No,
too.
I definitely have. You know what's crazy though, bro? You might think that I have a Canadian accent, but when I'm in Canada, they think I have a weird accent. Like they don't know where I'm from. They can't, you know?
Really?
Yeah, they can tell that I'm not from Canada.
Why? Because your accent isn't all
It's
the
like
way
weird.
Canadian.
Because I actually lived all over the place, bro. Like I lived in the States, I lived in the
Okay.
UK. Like, you know, I lived in a lot of places. So like my accent's just all over the place.
Well, when did you live in the UK?
Probably like 2006 to like 2008 or some shit like that.
And when did you move to Canada?
Probably like 20. I don't even know. 2009.
Okay, so
Yeah, 2009.
So you went from New York to the UK.
No, I was living in New York,
Okay.
moved to Minnesota,
Okay.
living in Minnesota for a bit, then I moved to UK, then Canada.
Damn.
Crazy shit all over the place.
What's up with all the moving?
My parents were in jail and shit.
Okay, so
My mom was in jail.
Gotcha. So you had to bounce around a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were a kid at the time, right?
Yeah, I was a kid.
How do you deal with that as a kid, or like what goes through your mind at that young of age, having to deal with a parent in jail like that?
Like, honestly, it's just like, you know, like niggas be having like day ones. Like, you know, niggas be having day ones. Like, you know, people you grew up with from the sandbox. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really have that. Like, you know? Like, I have niggas that I fuck with, I have good bonds with and shit, but I don't really have like day ones where I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, this nigga was there from the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, from the beginning of
From the
this whole thing,
beginning of,
yeah.
like, he knows me, like, you know? I don't really have that, only my family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You feel like you don't even have that, like, I'm sure you have friends in Canada. But
I have friends
but
that...
they weren't there with you during
exactly.
that time. Of
Like,
your
I
life,
have
too.
friends that fuck with me to the fullest, but, like, they don't know the real me. Like, they don't know that I was in New York.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you know, they don't know fucking experience. Like, I saw 9/11 happen and, like, shit like that. Like, you know?
Yeah.
They don't know that type of... That, you know?
And if you were like alive during the time of 9/11, it doesn't matter what age you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You, like,
I remember that shit for sure.
I was 5.
For
Was I
sure.
5 or 6. I was 5 or 6 at the time.
Wait, what? Are you 90?
96.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was 95.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
you were 6. I was 5.
Yeah.
So like,
I remember watching that shit, bro. Like live. Like I remember everything. I remember everything.
I remember them locking down my school.
Locking down my school.
though-
We had to evacuate the whole school.
Yep.
Everything was
All
crazy.
the parents came home early.
And then when the second plane hit, remember, I think it was like one plane hit and then the second plane hit or something like that.
Yeah.
When the second plane hit, like I saw that one. Like I saw that hit.
See, I didn't even see none of it. I was in class and they locked us down. Everything was like, that was when the first plane hit. And then one of the other teachers came into the room like crying, and that's when the second plane hit.
You know what's so crazy? A similar thing happened to me. But you know what's so fucked up? My teacher at the time, I was in first grade.
Yeah.
My first grade teacher, her husband worked in the World Trade Center.
Oh, that's crazy.
So when he I guess he like died, or he jumped off or some shit.
Really?
And then
Wow.
the like other teachers came to class to tell us, like, you know, that, you know, she just left the class crying and shit, like, you know.
That's crazy.
I remember that shit vividly. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I had a neighbor who was a firefighter during that whole thing too. They didn't hear from him for like 2 days. God bless, he survived, but like it was like one of those things where it's like you don't even hear from somebody for 2 days because they're just stuck in the rubble trying to clear that. Nuts.
And like it's just fucked up because like me going to live in Canada and shit, like when I be trying to explain this story to niggas in Canada, like they don't feel the
emotion.
significance. Yeah, exactly. They don't feel it like the way that I'll tell it to them and they just go past it and shit. Like, you know,
Because like they just see it in history
they
documentaries.
just see it in history. They don't feel that like they don't
wasn't
take in
living in New York
how
at the
much people
time.
died. People are jumping off of shit. Like they don't. They just, you know.
Or you never had somebody who like, you know, I feel like at some point through like whether it's like 1 degree of separation or 2 degrees of separation, like a lot of us knew people who worked in the World Trade Center at some point in their lives too.
Yeah.
Like my aunt worked in the World Trade Center at one point, like not around that time, but like there were so many like thousands and thousands and thousands of New Yorkers who have worked in the World Trade Center, and whether it be in the 1900s, whatever. But like we all knew somebody, you know what I'm saying? And that's the crazy part.
For sure.
But the music stuff. So you started doing the music stuff like while you were traveling, or was it kind of in Canada when you first kind of started playing around with it?
Canada is really where I started like really doing shit, you know. But I was always like making beats and shit. Like I was involved in music a little bit, you know. But like Canada is when like I made my name for myself and shit, like, you know. I think I've been rapping. I was probably rapping from like 2016.
Okay.
But niggas weren't really, you know, niggas weren't taking me in as like a northern rapper and shit. But like, I made one song. It was hitting and shit, and fucking posted on 6 Buzz.
Yep.
And then you know, Drake heard it and shouted me out on his page and shit. And then,
that was back in 2016.
No.
That was recent. That was more recent.
Yeah, that was more recent. That was like 2019. I'm saying I've been making music since 2016.
Gotcha.
But around like 2020, I dropped the tape. Like, you know, I decided to take it more. I actually came to New York. My homies out here like got me to perform. Like I did some shit for like Davies. Like Davies did like a show in Philly.
Tough, yeah.
And like I just like I was one of the openers for that, you know. So like when I came and did that, I'm like, yo, I'm taking this shit serious now. Like, you know, when I went back to Canada, I'm like, yo, there's no way I just performed for Davies and I'm about to just be on some normal shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I just started taking more serious. I made a mixtape or whatever. And yeah, they're fucking with me now in Canada, you know?
That's fire. So from the 6 Buzz shit, like all the way to the Drake shit, because I even saw even to this day, like Drake follows you.
Yeah, that's
which is super tight.
It's Drake, you know? He's the GOAT.
I mean, being from Canada, of course, you know what I'm saying? You lived in Canada long enough where it's
Huh?
like, I said you lived in Canada long enough where that's like, you know what I'm saying? It's a GOAT.
Yeah, for sure. It's Drake. Like Drake is like Jay-Z in Toronto. Like I don't know how niggas look at like Drake in America.
Right.
But like the respect, like people, the way people like worship Drake in Canada is crazy. Like people, just because he shouted me out, like my life just changed. Like literally, like, and it's not even, people don't even care about my music. They just care about the fact that Drake shouted me out. You know what I'm trying to say?
How do you feel like your life like changed? I guess aside from that.
It's like I'm like a local celebrity, you know, in my city.
Just because he follows you.
100%. No, not because he followed me, because he shouted me out.
Shout out to, yeah.
It's like in that city is like there's not really a lot of talent in Toronto, you know. So it's like when Drake shouts you out, it's like everyone's taking it in. Everyone's like paying attention to see like why did Drake just pay attention to that guy out of everyone. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. Yeah.
You know.
It's like when he first signed somebody like Smiley. Like everybody's like, who is this kid? Who is this
Exactly.
kid? And then everybody's paying attention to him.
Exactly. Like Smiley's a GOAT in the city too, but it's like certain shit. Like you see what Smiley? Smiley's the type of person like you have to be from Toronto to appreciate Smiley. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like you know how like you know you have to be like you know there's some like
New York artists.
Yeah, like exactly. Or like you know that nigga. What's that nigga that died? What's that nigga that from LA?
Draco
the Ruler.
Rest in peace,
Like
Draco,
you
yeah.
have to be from LA to understand that Sock'em Bop'em, like that style. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's how like Smiley. You have to be from Toronto to understand Smiley's.
Right. You feel like everybody gives them a bad rap out here because they're not from. They don't understand.
In Toronto, Smiley's like, oh my God, he's going crazy right now. But like
really
in America, they'll be like, oh, like well, this guy's.
I like Smiley's music personally, but like I also love Draco's music. So I'm like one of those people who doesn't.
Exactly.
Like I'm not like a regional person. I'm like I can only listen to New York.
Yeah,
so
for
I
sure.
get it. But like I you know you always see here in America like you see like people like Smiley like will get criticized for like the way that he sounds.
Exactly.
But like that's interesting to see the duality of like now someone you being from Toronto.
You know what's crazy though? Like in my perception, I don't know what a nigga's thinking, right? But like in my perception, I feel like Drake. I don't know what a nigga's thinking, but I feel like in my perception, Drake put on Smiley because he's so unapologetically Toronto.
Okay.
Like he comes on the track, he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like that's how a normal Toronto guy sounds like.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you tell a nigga to make a song and he starting like sounding like Lil Uzi.
Yeah.
But like this nigga, he's gonna sound like a Toronto nigga. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I
So
get
I
it.
feel like that's why maybe Drake put Smiley on over other niggas that have like maybe more talent and shit. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get it because it's more authentic to the.
He's trying to put on Toronto. He's trying to make the American nigga see a Toronto nigga.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
I get that.
Yeah.
That's honestly, I mean, you know, we don't know what he's thinking. But,
Yeah, of course, yeah, we would
But
never
like
know.
that's a pretty good
exactly.
theory. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah, yeah.
Like that's along those lines.
You know, for sure.
Do you think it's hard? Do you think it's hard sometimes for a lot of like other music out of Toronto besides like whatever Drake puts out to kind of really cross over here?
Excuse me, sir?
Like the music from Toronto, do you think it's hard for like other
No,
artists like the crossover?
You know
to
what it
make over
is?
here?
Like this is what I be thinking. Like you know what's crazy? Like in Canada, everyone just wants to cross over to America so bad, and they want to cross over there. They want to escape Toronto.
Yeah.
But like, I personally feel like we don't have to do that. Like I feel like we just need to focus on working on our sound, and we'll just have our own
wave.
Our own wave. We don't need like America. We don't need you. Like same way UK has their own thing. Like you know, like you guys are not really fucking with UK. Like you guys are fucking with UK, but like UK niggas do their own thing. They have their own channels. Yeah. They get their own millions and billions of views.
If they cross, they cross.
If they cross, they cross. Some artists cross, like Central C or whoever, like the guys that you had on your show, you know?
Yeah, like AJ and shit.
AJ and shit, you know? But not everyone cares to come to America from UK. And I feel like Canada should be like that too, you know?
I agree. I agree. I think sometimes you just need to focus on like what you got in the city or like what you have in your country.
Exactly.
And then like, you know, something is gonna eventually stick.
Exactly.
I guess it's like it's random, but like you could think about like Rosalia in Spain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not a lot of Spaniard artists that I know of really pop off, but then Rosalia was able to do it, and like I don't really know any other Spaniard artists besides her. You know, and I think it's just like aside from like taking Drake out the equation there, it's like if Toronto just works on like that core Toronto sound that you was just talking about, then it's like somebody in that lane with that style is eventually just gonna have one of those records that's just gonna be able to, you know, and like, that'll be like that sound.
The Americans notice Canada already too, you know. It's just it just takes more. Like I feel like, you know, just niggas have to. You know what I think? I feel like Canadian niggas need to do more features with Toronto. I mean, with American artists. Like, you know, we need like a fucking top 5 featuring fucking Moneybagg Yo or some crazy shit like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
but there's a lot. Like I've had a few dope artists from Canada. I had like Nate Husser, Zach Zoya, Emmanuel, who's an incredible R&B singer.
Yeah.
I think most of them are from Montreal. But yeah, like I feel like in terms of like artistry, like the artistry is there.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel you though. It's just like maybe they just need to collaborate a little bit more.
Exactly.
And try to like.
We definitely have our own thing. Like we have our own thing. You know, it's hard. You know, it's hard to mix it, right?
Yeah, but I saw you previewing this new project on your gram, right?
Yeah, for sure.
When's that coming out?
That's coming out January 12th.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'll make sure that this lines up with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn, you teasing it kind of far away. We're recording this is the 19th of December.
I know, yeah.
So you're just getting people hyped.
Getting people hyped. I'm not gonna lie. Like people have been trying to make me drop a tape for like a year now, like since the shout out, you know.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, exactly. You know, so I just been trying to.
Did you feel the pressure to like put out a tape?
That's the thing is like. I personally don't feel pressure. Like I probably made like 500 songs since then, you know. But it's like I don't wanna. I want to put things out the way I want to put it out. I don't want to feel no pressure. Right. You know what I'm trying to say?
So the new project's called Canvas.
It's called Canvas.
Canvas. I love the cover art too.
Thank you, bro.
I think that shit's super fire. Wait, is this the cover art for the project or for the single?
That's the project. That's
the project cover art. So we can say, okay, that's dope. So what's the idea for you behind Canvas?
I'm really just trying to show you guys that like it's kind of like a double entendre kind of thing. Like, you know, in my city, everyone knows like I'm like a trap rapper, you know. So it's like Canvas, like it's, you know, it's all white, like canvas, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm trying to paint a picture. You know what I'm trying to say?
You're trying to show people Toronto, like where you from?
No, not necessarily Toronto.
You're trying to paint a picture of the.
I'm trying to, like, I'm a trap rapper.
Okay.
Like I talk, like, you know, everyone, like I'm a trap rapper. Like I talk about the trap, like, you know. So it's like canvas, white.
Okay.
And I'm painting a picture of the trap.
I like
my
that.
perspective. You know what I'm saying?
I fuck with that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You got a couple features on here too, right?
Yeah. It's Canadian artists.
Canadian artists. Put me on to some of them.
John C.
Okay,
hot nigga
John
from
C.
Toronto.
Fire. Shout out John C.
Fleeto, my close dog, is going hard in Toronto.
Shout out Fleeto.
Yeah, 2K is going hard. All Toronto artists, you guys should go take them in, you know?
Are they kind of like the same vein? They make the same type of music as you, or they come from different kind of lanes?
No, I never even met some of these niggas. Like, you know, it's just
Really?
like we met during to make this. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? But they have their own waves in Toronto. The same way I have my wave, they have their own wave, and they're part of the city. Like, you know?
Got you.
Yeah, for sure.
And what part of the city of Toronto are you?
I'm actually not from Toronto. I'm from a place like 20 minutes from Toronto called Brampton.
Brampton, okay.
Right? So that's where Tory Lanez is from. So
Gotcha.
Tory Lanez is from Brampton. So like, it's like a big controversy in my city. Is like, you know, but like Brampton's like the suburbs a little bit, you know. So it's like niggas be hating on Brampton and shit, like, you know. But niggas.
Did Tory also spend some time here in America? Also, like,
Tory?
He lived out here. He lived in New York.
I don't really know Tory.
Yeah, I think Tory lived in New York for a little while too. Yeah, he lived in like. He said Jamaica. He lived in like Jamaica, Queens, something like that. I read it online somewhere, but that's dope.
Yeah, I used to see Tory around in my area like a lot. Like he lived like, I lived in a building, and then he lived like there's fucking like townhouses right in front of my building. Like he lived right there. Like my cousins and shit will just be fucking with him and shit, buying weed or like they're smoking weed together and shit. You know, seen him all the time, like regularly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's been in my crib. For sure. I was just talking about this in the other interview too.
The Tory Lanez was just chilling in your crib one day?
Yeah, like he used to come to my crib. He used to, like, to be honest, he used to have a clique before he blew, he had a clique called like Flock Fresco or some shit like that. And like my cousins were like part of that, like, you know? So he used to just be around my crib and shit. You know?
One of my favorite old Tory Lanez songs, the first song that actually made me discover him, I saw him live at Irving Plaza. I think he opened, who was he opening up for? Forgot. But he did the song we had with Kirko Bangs.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You know what song I'm talking
Yeah, I
about,
remember
right?
exactly what song you're
videos
talking
in the
about.
mansion
Yeah,
or
I know
whatever?
exactly what song you're talking about, yeah.
Song is fire.
I remember exactly what
Song
song
is tough. That's what put me onto him.
Yeah, he's a go. Like he's a guy. Like I respect him. Remember, he's from my city, like my specific city. You know, like Brampton. So I have a lot of respect for Tory Lanez for sure.
Word. So the project comes out January 12th.
January 12th.
What are you doing after this?
January 12th. To be honest, I'm trying to go tap in with the American or UK market. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of niggas in my city can't really do that. But like, I feel like I should like take that opportunity. Like, cause niggas in my city don't really make like music. Like they more make like, you know how like drill music and shit. Like, you know, they more make like music for the hood, for their hood.
Yeah.
For Toronto specifically, like, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like I can like try and, you know, like branch over and make collaborations with like American artists and UK artists and shit. So that's what I'm thinking about right now after I drop my album.
Take it higher and further.
Higher and further.
Word.
For sure.
Well, I'm excited for that, man.
Thank you, brother.
By the time people see this, the freestyle's out now and the performance, so make sure you go check those out. New album, Canvas, out January 12th, so go check that out once it drops. If it's out right now, go stream that, go show that some love. Before we get out of here, let the people know that they can follow you. Anything else you want to let the fans know, now is the time to do it. This camera right here.
Yeah, you guys follow me at on Instagram, Dr. Bushman. So dr.bus 3 H's man. And yeah, and I don't really fuck with Twitter and all that shit, but yeah, you guys follow me on the gram.
So go follow him on the gram. Go check out that new project once it's out January 12th. Go show him some love. Go show him some support. Love is free. Support is free. But y'all already knew that. Freestyle out now. Canvas out January 12th. Till next time. Canada in the building. Dr. Bushman in the building. We out. Boom. My guy. Love.
Love, brother.